Okay, greetings. How's everybody doing? I just want to say hello, first of all, before I get into it, and I hope that people are doing all right in the day to day. There is always going to be some kind of stress in the world, and some things to look forward to, and ultimately our own for the sane of mind and heart. Liberation from sorrow, trauma, and being stuck in a prison and subordination. Obviously, if we free ourselves deeply within the heart and profoundly in the mind, we're free in many things, as much as can be possible, even in the flesh here, although, yeah, gravity and all that stuff will still remain. So, I don't know, this video is going to be a little tricky in a way because I always have so much to say and I don't really know how to funnel it properly. But I wanted to talk about the varying opinions that are in the world and getting to have the best clarity with yourself and knowing and owning the freedom. When we are in love with an idea, it could be a philosophy or a spiritual outlook, anything, our tendency to defend it, even prematurely or violently, even like just with bad words or being emotionally perturbed and out of whack, often comes about when we're not really certain that what we have is true and that we own it and keep it and are one with it. So, in the world, you have various ideas. Everybody has a slightly different perspective on reality, obviously. And that's the fun part and also the curse in a way because it makes it difficult when we bump heads. But such as it must be. But to really get to know divine truth where we would really agree on things, it ultimately comes down to being pretty common sense as far as we can agree. Like any person of sane mind and even decent heart would agree that love is the way, and being truthful and being like this in this modality, it would return to you, of course, or as it should. The laws of the universe would be in effect because we do get what we give out. That's if you don't know that by now, you should. I should know it too. Huh? So when it comes to refinement, again, it's that picture of the pyramid as the blocks build towards the top, and then the top, it's the illuminated mind. Now, all the bad attacks against Illuminati and stuff like that, that's such a convoluted mess of things. And what once was holy is now flipped upside down and made to look like the bad guy and vice versa. And things are really, really awry and strange in the world right now. But we can get on topic with that at another moment. Originally, those who followed the light taught the light, and it's too bad that there was a bastardization of many forms and symbols and themes. That is the power of the darkness at the moment. But in a strange way of irony and poetry, God reverses reversals and, I don't know, shows all kinds of things. We'll get into that maybe. So, how do we find really a good, deep, profound truth? I mean, it should be common sense. It should be known to all. Children could speak about nice things, and it would be wonderful. I mean, sometimes I've heard kids say the most beautiful things, as I'm sure you have, and remind you of something, essentially just fundamentally fantastic. Like, so that gives a soul or a being, a person, a spirit, happiness and contentment. Something that's we would call familiar, and familiar as coming from family. So it's family to us, familiar to us. Now in the world right now, there's so much contest for who wants to have the right view, teach the deeper truths. There's a lot of mystery schools that are coming out. They used to be hiding in the closet. Now they're a little more out there and safe, not to be persecuted by church or state, for example. But all things happen in the right time, that they were allowed to be released, such as certain things being found on the earth, discovered, like Dead Sea Scrolls or the very fantastic Nag Hammadi scriptures, which you must read. I do dare say. So when things are appropriate in the divine timing, people come to light in this manner of speaking. Now, since there is such a push, since there's such a desire for, a thirst for people to want truth, like the deeper levels, things are being revealed, and things that were kind of hidden in symbols and in art and different stuff, they're revealed more and more. In some cases, they're fabricated with those who have an agenda to dissuade or to, corrupt people. And they go, oh, look at this, and it could be even false. So we can't take everything as an ultimate, gospel just like that. But in other things, the mystery, kept along, and now we're seeing it more clearly as for what it is. And in some cases, it's still very confusing and in gray areas. So, not a single person obviously has all the truth. Nobody could dare claim such a thing. Even the deepest adepts of any mystery school, or people that were safeguarding certain treasures of wisdom, if they were really true, then they would also admit, well, I don't have all the truth, but I would like to hope I got a lot of it, and, stuff like this. So you would think. Lest deceit be deliberate, what? Yeah. So we're looking at a contest of wills and information, and it's almost like an information overload because there's just so much out there. A person could spend countless hours learning, days, countless days, months, years, and just come to tip of the iceberg and say, wow, what a mess. So what I'm saying is, for all the availability of knowledge, then you have to have the common sense stay with you. That's how you get grounded. As they say, be still and know I am God. Our deep interior, when it's calm and silent, God's truest presence or voice is silence, in the sense of it's calm, it's still, it's reassuring. For all the drama and fighting, it's like, yes, but that's why the Christos can say, I am the Alpha and the Omega. Before there was drama, and then after there was drama, there was the calm stillness. There was the eternity saying, yes, yes, okay, okay. So our heart, our true core, comes to realize that it is indeed one with this nature. Even the philosopher and master of enlightenment, Siddhartha, aka Buddha, when he found his enlightenment through different means, through meditation and stillness, the result was the same thing, because it becomes common sense. When we take away our emotional attachments to ideas that are not necessarily true, or feeling like we got gypped out of something, or feeling that we're not worthy, so, compensate, undercompensate, overcompensate, all these things. So to know the great truth, it takes the time, and it also takes revelation. So from that silence presence of the divine God, there's also the Logos. So the one that we called Yeshua, Jesus Christ, he is spokesperson of, or entity, or essence. You can put a bunch of names on it. I don't necessarily have a better term than you might. But that which gives a voice of authority to prove and to show the almighty presence of that silent, we call the divine Father, the divine source. Call it the divine mother, doesn't really matter. But that backdrop, that source of sources and God of gods, that is hard to name. A million names can be put out, and we wouldn't get it right, maybe, because it's all that and not one of them, in a way, right? So to know that is the highest truth. Now, anything else is a discipline. Anything else can be what is leading up to it. Anything else is an aspect. Like for those who follow a pagan path, and into shamanism and druidry and Wicca and all these things, a lot of that has to do with nature worship and the understanding, of aspects of what is visible. But as they say in the deeper, sort of mystery secret schools, or terminology, that you should find always the invisible that is hiding within the visible, and make that invisible visible knowledge to you. So when you see a tree, for example, if we're talking about, pagans and druids and such, and I have a lot of respect for them, and in a past life I was, of this sort as well. But I'm talking about the symbol itself. If you have the idea of a tree, that which branches out into the sky more and more and grows only because the roots grow more and more, and you cannot have one without the other. And if so, it is dead and dying and basically dead on its way to death. So, in a similar way, this symbol, this image, this idea of a tree of life, is very real in a mystical, eternal sense because to grow and branch outwards, you must be rooted, you must have experience in different worlds, and you have to have one without, you have to have one, and you can't have one without the other, is what I'm trying to say in my funny way. So you need the twofold presence, and it's also like a yin yang, also, as it follows itself. But nature itself isn't the ultimate truth. Worshipping a tree or nature and say, oh, Mother Earth, that isn't the highest height. That can be respecting creation or a shadow of ideas manifested, or life in this myriad of form that we see. But it isn't the ultimate truth. Neither is mere philosophy or speculation, as another example. If you're only, like they say, if you're an armchair philosopher, you could be a person who reads a lot. Oh, interesting. And you go back and forth and you hum and haw, and you're influenced because some person seemingly with authority tries to persuade you that after all this is true or not. So you end up getting attached to an idea for a while and going with it, and then you find it gets contradicted somewhere else, and you just anyway you can become a mess of things. So that to have a love of wisdom, originally as we say, philosophia, the love of wisdom. So to have a love of wisdom is great, but not merely to stay as an armchair philosopher or somebody just thinking about ideas and going back and forth. Like we need the proof if we're going to know any truth and stand in it and really know it and profess it properly and have it so well within us that we're not violently defending it in some shape, way, or form, or feeling aggressive towards others or insecure, like those waves of fear, those bubbles of emotions pop up in us when we feel challenged about our ideas because we're not fully certain if they're true. Anybody that would be, considered a true master would not feel such emotions like that and get easily agitated. As for me, I'm still very temperamental myself, so I haven't reached the mastery yet. One day, God willing. So that's just it. When we have to know the truth and we have to understand the background is the silence and the eternal presence, and just to cognize that, even the way that an animal or a kid, or like we were talking about trees earlier, a tree or something, would know the isnness without even having to think about it. It's just, I don't want to say assumed or presumed, but it's naturally understood. And then our ideas sort of cast shadows upon it when we're not sure about something. So to get the mystical proof, you'd have that silence, and then you'd have that which came out of the silence in order to talk to you and to tell you to, what's the word? What's the word? Not rebuke. Oh, it escapes me at the moment. But something that would come to purify and prove that it was true and give you that inner stability that matches your outer look, your outlook at life, when your interior is very strong and pure and true and growing in it. So the outer world, like your modality, your day-to-day waking conscious ego self, is more relaxed and pacified. I'm saying it in a funny way. Pardon me. But your day-to-day would be more relaxed because your interior is deeper in that truth and knows it. So that's why I said, how can anybody know something unless it is handed down, as it were, or revealed, like they call it revelation, or when prophets would receive messages. And a lot of people channel things even to this day, or receive messages. A lot of them, and I've done it too, I've been guilty of it myself. I've channeled Archangel Michael or Raphael or someone like that, not because I heard directly his or her voice in my head or wrote down verbatim, but when I said, okay, I'm open to the spirit of that, what would that spirit say? And it would be an authoritative but gently sweet message, as many people have done. But to say with 100%, oh, this entity said that we have to be careful of, because I read messages all the time of people channeling angels, and I say, oh, when I see them make mistakes talking about different facets of, and not mistakes by and large or disasters, but I mean little things that I kind of go, yeah, but if you got deeper into the mysteries, you'd understand that that's not exactly correct. But good on you for intent with your intent, wishing to give a loving, beautiful message. And even right now, my video, my speech, has every intention of upliftment and to help with wisdom and to purify yours and to help mine along as I do so. And as I listen to others who help me to, we all mirror each other wonderfully. We all have excellent things to say. We shouldn't doubt ourselves. If the intention is pure, then we have never ever have to feel bad about something. And the spirit of correctness could come through the mouse, squeak, squeak. Hey, through a mouse maybe, through the mouth of a child or from a contemporary or anybody at all. A sign in nature, anything at all, a random song, something that's coincidental, or those kind of things, signs and wonders. And then we go, okay. So it's always to be open, like when the Christ said to Nicodemus, enter the kingdom of heaven as a child. And you have to be innocent and open. Don't be naive and listen to everything. Some people, they post every bit of news that they hear, for example, or they share or they speak it, and there's second, third, fourth hand information, and by the time it was down to the fifth person spreading it, it's really out of whack because not even the first piece of news was even true, or it was a potential, right? Like all these things going on in the earth right now, rumors and rumors of wars and diseases, and some of them are true and happening as they always have. So nonetheless, to get to know really truth, we have to have our stability in it, and we need to be thirsty to engage it. And there are so many very precious mysteries to uncover, and one thing does always lead to another, and you'll see like forked lightning where you end up going, oh wow. And it's not that you become only one path of the forked lightning, it's like you are all of them, because the source of that lightning is one. So you become very broad minded, and hopefully also, and as to the point, more loving and pure in spirit and heart. So to get to know the truth, there only is kind of two ways. It's to be quiet in yourself and own that stability and have your identity be one with it, and remind yourself often, and I'm doing it more myself too, say, I will die. This body, the body you have, the body that I'm temporarily, say that to yourself, the body that I temporarily have is going to die. It's already dying. It's on a death sentence, as it was supposed to be, as it should be, as is beautiful and right. So I go to the next one, because this one is not, the state of mind that I have whilst in this isn't perfect. It's still confused. So how could a confused ego and state be eternal and immortal? No. So in the mystery schools that came from Egypt way back in the day, when they said that to understand the beauty and the perfection of you being mortal and immortal at the same time while you're incarnate, that you're both. You are already immortal and mortal. Obviously, the mortal part is obvious. The immortal part is not obvious to a lot of people yet. Well, people are getting there. But realize that, and the perfection of that we needed that, because until we have cast off desires and the want to experience 3D things and this and that and the other, and experience it as you must. But to understand that that is just being in school and going through processes and being in the flux. But that which is eternal is above it and behind it and within it and surrounding it, and also protecting it and allowing it to happen. It's like, and not to be mad at the divine, a lot of people can, I mean, yes, a lot of people have smeared the name of even Christianity, and it's become almost, I don't want to say laughable, but like when some people are narrow-minded and they they get in certain schools of thought, and then they think, oh, you are your body, you only have one life, and all kinds of things, and they have this disciplined regimen. They make it look really bad, and then people like myself who have a great affection for the Christ, then I say, oh gosh, and those guys are making us look like fools and madmen. Oh, and then they'll be judged by barbarians and philosophers. I'm using old terms of old lore and texts of the past, of course. But anyway, when you develop your pure, true essence, you'll see that it is first and foremost immovable. You'll see that you are ultimately untouchable. But the ego part, the confused part, always must continue to undergo the death. Many deaths, many bodies. I'm not sure if it was Trismegistus, or I don't know where it came from. I was reading some old text recently, and it was saying something like, oh, my son, he was talking to one of his students, oh, my son, you must understand the insane amount of bodies and life forms we must go through and pass through in order to go through the heavenly gates to get to the highest heights. Oh, it's incredible how many. Truly, it's incredible. And it is appropriate. So, take yourself from where you're at and be content, and know that if you possess enough humility and enough thirst for truth and you're asking for it, then you will get it. And the divine will reveal it to you in all manner of ways. And if we're open and if we're paying attention, then these things can occur. And they can be often. And sometimes things will be held back a little bit because we're not ready for it, or it would overwhelm us. So I'm telling you the truth for myself. Sometimes I've read some texts or stuff, or even just had some meditation or profound thoughts or something like it, and I went, oh my God, I'm literally like thunderstruck. Like, oh, it's like getting a hangover for a while. You're like, oh, now I got to digest and process all that, and let it, and take a break when you need to, and slow down when you need to, because that's important also. So take that to heart, develop it, your interior, as best as we can. We're trying to make a nicer exterior world and a more benevolent place, but we're contesting with so many minds and so many violent minds and so many ignorant persons and so many laws and strange things that are in place for a while still that are annoying and immature and impure, basically impious. And we're trying to fight and wrestle with that and shake it off. So the more we can be in light and truth and own it in ourselves, the more we influence the outer world and, for terms, convert those other minds and refine them. And then when we incarnate again, hopefully the world is that much better, so we have more of a easier framework to work with. So let's hold true with that. Realize without worrying, realize even without thinking, realize without a thought, cognize, I don't know how you want to put it, realize, cognize without even thinking that you are an immortal divine being meant for great things. And it isn't the ego or the flesh that is that. And it isn't a person's opinion that is that, but it is the truth of your essence that is that. And then conform yourself according to your own ability and energy and willpower, etc., to be one with that. And I will continue to do the same. And then when we are in this state of receptivity and our heightened senses and all these things, our mysticism grows, then you'll be surprised what beings could visit you, what voices you might hear. I'm still shy to say some things that I've experienced, but maybe less and less as I age. But some of the things that verify the truth is they're quite incredible indeed. They're quite incredible indeed. So be open to it. Don't demand it, but you can expect it shyly. I hope you would come talk to me if you're of good intent and pure. If you want truth as it is, you'll always get it. Those who want truth according to what they want it to be will always be deceived and confused. You can ask Sakla about that. Research that. All right, take it easy. much love to everybody, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace, love, and light. Ciao.